From celebrating its 800th birthday in 2007 to the capital of culture status in 2008, from football, music, festivals, shops, nightlife and entertainment, the city of Liverpool really has something to offer for everyone. Originally a seaport with a thriving import and export industry, Liverpool has grown over the centuries to become a diverse, energetic and exciting city. However, there remains a dark side to its progression.
Slave trade was the movement of many African people, millions of them, between 1440 and 1880, even though it was abolished in 1807. The families that were involved in the slave trades all lived differently. Obviously those that owned the slave companies were slave traders and shipping companies. They lived really well. Some of them lived in the mansions around Sefton Park. Others who had high up positions lived in Rodney Street. Those who sort of did the grassroots work, repairing the boats, the working classes if you like, they lived in quite poor conditions. There was a lot of overcrowding and generally poor conditions, poverty. The part that Liverpool played is huge because a third of all boats that came in were carrying slavery. As I've already said, they were fixing the boats and everyone was involved. If it was a case of taking the slaves off to put them on another ship, they were involved in that. The money that came in is astronomical, and you can see the influence around town. Many of the streets are named after slave traders. The Blue Coat School was actually built by someone who was a slave trader, and you can see its influence all around. The effect that it had in the city was that it sort of caused a rebirth. All this money came in and there was loads of money to be made, and this is shown by there's a bank in town, and as you go into the entrance there are two copper freezers on either side of the doorway. Each one is an African child holding a bag of money, and it's designed to show the wealth that could be made from Africa. Again, the Liverpool Town Hall is covered in, as you look at it, different details from Africa: lions, tigers, trees. Rodney Street as well. Everything we have that sort of is grand has a link back to slavery. Even the liver buildings were built afterwards with the money that was made from slavery.
Oh yeah, I'll tell you something I think you'll understand when I say that something.
Liverpool were pro-slave country because we had so much riding on it. It was the cotton industry. Liverpool was the port for the Lancashire cotton mills, and it was the cotton barons, the shipping barons, the sugar magnates. A lot of people made their money out of the plantations, and they didn't want to see slavery abolished. But when slavery was finally abolished in 1807, it was just the colonies, but the slaves remained as indentured labour, which meant they were obliged to work for another 20 years. It wasn't until 1838 that slavery was finally abolished. But the slave owners were given huge amounts of money in compensation because they lost their slaves. And that was the biggest bugbear what really the blacks resented, because the slave owners were paid off for their loss of revenue.
Liverpool controlled up to 60% of the British slave trade. Therefore, it's only fitting that the city takes a central role in marking the abolition bicentenary. Liverpool is to host a year-long programme of commemorative events for 2007, culminating in the opening of the International Slavery Museum in August.
It's hard to fit together something that happened all those years ago and how I see racism now. When you read and learn about slavery, then you see some of the racist things today and how they've come to be like that, then you know more about slavery. But if you don't know about that, then it's hard to see where you've actually come from.